look at Eduardo Mortera on the front of the grid and his hopes of becoming a back-to-back champion, when you look at who has won here, Darren Manning back in 1999, Michael Schumacher, of course, back in 1990, his brother won in 1995, and the who's who, it started, of course, in 83 with Ayrton Senna winning the first ever Formula 3 race, and further back than that, we've got the likes of Riccardo Patrese racing here, Jeff Lees raced here, John Nielsen, Maurizio Gugelman, Andy Wallace, Martin Donnelly, some great names. David Coulthard was the first time I came here back in 1991, and that's dating me, but this is my 20th year of following this race, and that tells you how much it means to me. But David Coulthard was just a young buck for Paul Stewart Racing back then, and nobody really gave him much of a hope and thought that he was really up to much. He was young, he was, just starting out. Yes, he was kind of tipped for the future, but I don't think anybody thought he was necessarily, in this field that he was in back in 1991, going to over-roar everybody. But Macau made his name, and away he went. I know, and just when you read off those names, Johnny, how many of those have made it into professional motorsport? I would say 99% of those drivers made it into some form, whether it's Formula One or a full-time driver, as a works driver, a manufacturer driver. And that just goes to show the prestige of this race, and that's what it's all about today. Some of these guys won't know what they're doing next year. They won't have a budget. They put everything into this, and here they go on the green flag lap, starting up. Yep, formation lap then for the first race, the qualification race for Formula 3, the first race of the 57th Macau Grand Prix for Formula 3. And the cars warming their tyres, and this is a very, very important time as they head down, and you can look at them violently turning the wheel. And how important, I mentioned it in another race earlier, is the tyre temperature? Well, it's really important because it's not easy to generate the temperature into the tyre here. It's a very low grip track, medium speed corners, and to get the right temperature in the tyre for the start of the race is not easy. Remember, we're starting from a standing start, and we're going to be arriving at Lisboa absolutely flat out in a few minutes' time, and you need the temperature in the tyre. You've also got your middle sector. I mean, the confidence you need in the car there to push. So tyre temperature is everything. That I don't think tyre drop-off will be an issue for any of these guys. So then, row one, Mortara in pole position, Valtteri Bottas in second position, Laurent Vantor in third, Daniel Abt in fourth. On row three, it's Marco Wittmann in his first race here. Roberto Merri returns, but looking to try and get Merri and get up there and up the board. I spoke to him this morning. Felix Rosenqvist has done a superb job in my mind, because he is a relative newcomer to this Formula 3 field. Likewise, Gian Cadella has done a good job, the Catalan racer. Da Costa, Huertas has been knocked back 5 places. He could come through. Jasmine Jafar representing Malaysia. Lloyd, superb for Britain and Wales. Nasser, the Brazilian, in 15th place. Imperatori, been racing in Japan. He's on row 8 and looking to try and get in Formula Nippon after this. Calado is on row 9. Ollie Webb, Alexander Sims. Sims disappointed, having been knocked back too, and he too could be coming through. So there could be several guys at the back, and I'll almost put you on back watch in terms of some of the young guys coming through, Andy, because I think we've got some very fast guys. Will Buller won the Formula BMW race here and dominated totally last year. He too is further back than he should be. Number 30, Adelaide Fong of Hong Kong, the rare and one of few representatives from Asia. Michael Ho also racing, and great to see Adelaide getting up there and getting involved in the Macau Grand Prix. And it's great to see so many. Arianto, who's a former champion, of course, in BMW, and the Asian drivers now starting to come to the fore in this prestigious, the most prestigious race in Asia. Absolutely. I mean, it's great to see some of these guys are gaining the experience this year. They may not be, they may not have the biggest budget. They may not have done enough testing to get up to speed in the Formula 3 car, but to get here before the biggest event of your life the following year and trying to win is very important, and every lap counts around Macau. It's just a crucial place. It's a living place. It changes every session, and you've just got to learn how to let the track come to you. And here the guys are, warming up their tyres. Mortara now is bunching the grid up. It's important that he bunches everybody up. There's a lot of cars out there, and he doesn't want to be stood on pole position for too long, getting the brakes and tyres cold. And of course, he's got Bottas next to him, and if he makes a good start, it could be a whole different ball game for Mortara. So, yep, bunching them up there, and now they're coming onto the grid. So then, here we go. The 57th Macau Grand Prix, Formula 3 qualification race. Jonathan Green and three-time world champion here at Macau, Andy Priaulx, bringing you the action. And Andy, how much of a plan can you make in these seconds now?
Your focus is make sure you selected first gear, get the car position right on the grid. You're looking in the mirrors right now, and you're just trying to, well, just get an idea when the green flag will be waved. The car's just sitting there on tick over. You're just looking ahead now. I think that the heart rate will be rising now for these guys. It always takes a long time for the guys to bunch up at the back, and when you're right at the front of the grid, it just seems like you've been there for 10 minutes. But
and the temperature's going out of your tyres second by second.
Absolutely. The guys who are at the back of the grid have got a bit of an advantage there, but they can't do anything with it. So, yeah, I mean, you're just concentrating now on making sure you're prepared. There's a few guys not quite right on top of their grid positions there. Now, that's a big mistake, because the run from here to the first corner will be flat, and you're going to lose a little bit of an advantage. There's the green flag. Here we go.
Here we go then. When the lights go out, we'll be racing for the 57th time here at Macau. Mortara in pole on the left-hand side. Gets away, but a better get away by Bottas. He comes alongside Mortara as they head down towards that first corner. But will Mortara hold his line? He does so. They're side by side already as we head down towards Mandarin for the first time.
Yeah, Bottas made a great start. He's got the outsider for Mandarin. It's not going to be able to choose it.
And he's not going to be the only one here. They come round the outside. I think that's App coming through. No, somebody spins out. And yes, Collado, I think, is one of the men involved in that. Big crash, and that's going to cause a red flag for sure. It's number 6. Yes, James Collado, who has collided with the famous Macau fencing just by Mandarin, and that could cause a red flag, but the race continues for now anyway. 10-lap qualification race. But that was an interesting start, because there were several, including Apt, who came round the outside as they went through the first corner and dived into the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. That was awesome. I mean, he obviously got a good slipstream, or he just kept his foot in. I mean, Mortara and Bottas went side by side in turn 1. It's not easy to do that in turn 1. It's impossible in a touring car. But, of course, then you're out of position for Mandarin, and then you're going to have to sort of shuffle into position. But, yeah, the guys there in the middle of the field just got it a little bit wrong. They lost their sighting, maybe the aero. They lost a bit of grip. And, yeah, we see it every year on the exit of Mandarin. It's one of those sort of corners that you always dread for the start. I don't know if they're going to safety car this race, or whether they're going to red flag it, but they've got to make a decision fairly soon.
Well, Mortara leads them through, and as you say, they've got to make a decision fairly quickly, because they're going to be coming round fairly soon. But out of Donna Maria for the first time. Mortara with a strong lead, and yeah, Collado hit that hard. The car in front of him, he may have been put off by that as well, because this car in front of him was very close to the fence and spun out as well.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like one of them went off in sympathy there. Ran a little bit wide, got onto the dirty part of the track, and lost the rear. And you don't really recover from that in Mandarin Corner. It's so fast. Of course, you know, you're running these cars pretty light on the aero as well. So once you get a car that crossed up, it's game over. But I'd be interested to know if they've actually managed to clear up this safety car. We've got a safety car on standby, so they must have cleared up that mess, which is pretty impressive. And here we go.
Here we go then, and that means we're still racing and heading down towards the Mandarin again. And it is Mortara, Apt, Bottas, Vantor, Merry in 5th place. Whitman drops to 6th. Great start from Daniel Apt, though. Really good. But look at the gap that Mortara's got. It's already 2.1 seconds as 28 Bottas coming alongside the number 4 again. Here we go.
This is going to be interesting. There's 2 guys here. Now, one's in the slipstream. Number 3 there is going to be really, really in a good position for Lisboa. Apt defends that nicely. Mortara's just pulling away. As these guys are fighting, Mortara's just going to pull away with this. So it's going to be a tough scrap now for second and third on the podium. Yeah,
and Vantor tried to go round the outside, but defended nicely. And as you say, as these 4 battle, it's just going to play into the hands of Eduardo Mortara, because he's just pulling away and getting into his rhythm at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, don't forget, this is Apt's first time around here. He's probably not going to be as sweet in the middle sector as, let's say, Bottas. So it's going to be tough. But I think Bottas was really, really, quick through out of the last corner and into Mandarin. So it's going to be a tough, long race for Apt here.
This must be frightening in a Formula 3, and we're getting a bird's eye view here.
It is. I mean, it's just awesome, though. I mean, you're in the S's there, braking here. I mean, this is a place you could easily make a mistake and run wide, and there's just you just got no room for error on the exit. Really quick braking for the S's here. Very, very bumpy maternity. It's just really easy to lock a snag a front left and understeer straight into the tyre wall. So it's a very unforgiving track.
Abt then in second place, the number 4, trying to chase down, but Mortara's already through Donna Maria and headed down towards Melko. So Mortara, this is the battle for third position, is gone. Abt is second, Bottas is third, Vantor is fourth, Merry fifth, Whitman then Rosenqvist. Good start from Rosenqvist, he's up there. Green flags waving as they head towards Fisherman's. Down the hill, one of the fastest parts of the circuit here, and you're flat out through here. And then this right-hander again, Andy, very quick indeed. You know all about coming through there quick.
Thanks, Johnny, for that. I was just saying, Abt, going on, swiftly moving on, Abt put in a very good middle sector there. So he gained 3/10 to Bottas, and you need to do that. You need to give yourself a bit of breathing space in the middle sector so that your last sector's strong, and you've given yourself a bit of an opportunity to pull away a little bit. So Abt's driving well here. He's given himself a little bit of breathing space, but you can see here that we've got Bottas lining him up for the slipstream. Maybe through Mandarin he's going to generate enough of a slipstream to challenge for braking on Lisboa. And you know as well as I do, going offline into Lisboa, anything can happen.
Vantor is going to come through the inside. He's going to make his move. Here we go. Had it shut the door there, and Bottas really, really close between the pair of them.
He's passed him. Great move. Really, really good.
Mortara, though, is 3.3 seconds ahead of this battle at the moment.
Yeah, Mortara's just focusing on, you know, keeping it neat and tidy now, and he's got nothing to worry about. Doesn't have to look into his move. Somebody's gone off into Lisboa. There we are.
Yeah, heavily. Now they'll get the crane out fairly quickly. It's already coming down. Can't see who it is at the back of the... We've got the classification up at the moment, so we can't see the back of the car. Here we go.
Yeah, just a classic sort of missing your braking initially and running a little bit wide. It's very difficult, such a long braking zone, to judge your braking speed there. So an easy mistake.
So Vantor, great move indeed by Laurent Vantor of Belgium.
Yeah, Bottas has been slipped back to fourth there, and I think, you know, maybe he got himself a little bit too close to Abt through Mandarin, and Vantor just benefited from that slipstream and lunged him on the brakes into Lisboa. And I think they're still going to swap positions, these guys, a little bit during the next few laps, but hopefully Abt is going to have enough of a breather space to, you know, if he puts together a good mid-sector like he did in the last lap, it should help him.
You've got to think that Eduardo Mortara, the man trying to go for back-to-back victories, must be enjoying this. He's got a very, very strong lead. It was 3.3 seconds. He put the fastest lap in last time, and I'm sure he's going to do it again. Yeah,
he's got a strong lead, but, you know, concentration's really important here. It's very easy just to lose that little bit of concentration and make a small mistake. We saw it with, I think, with Courtney a few years ago. Maybe that was a puncture, but black flag. Black and white flag, warning flag.
Yeah, just a warning flag coming out for the competitors. And this is the battle for second position. Mortara does a 2:12.7. He really is tonking it down the road now. Vantor does similar, 2:12.775. So he's on the same kind of pace, but not making any inroads. Abt still third. Merry up to fourth. Bottas drops to fifth now. Whitman is sixth. Rosenqvist moves up again. And it's Renger van der Zand, I think, who's moved up. Yeah, he has to seventh place.
So obviously Abt's got a black and white flag, warning flag there for excessively weaving. That means he's had more than one change of direction, which is deemed to be illegal. So he's had his warning, and he won't get away with another one.
So further down the field, Hadianto in 16th place. The Indonesian just behind the Malaysian, Jafar. Jasmine Jafar racing in Europe now behind the Brazilian Nassar, who raced here, of course, in BMW. Currently in 14th position. Buller is up to 19th. Munoz is 20th. Kurimoto, one of the favourites here before the weekend started, down in 21st place. And a no-show, effectively.
So Vantor's got good pace. He's done a 12.775 compared to Mortara's 12.755. So, I mean, he's not going to reel him in at that speed, but if he can keep his commitment high and just chip away at it, Mortara stays concentrated, he'll be fine. But any small mistake, and Vantor's going to be on the gearbox of Mortara.
You'd have to say that Vantor now, at this point, really shouldn't need to challenge. Keeps on the same pace because he's going to start on the front row, and like you say, trying to take